As Microsoft has revealed new information on their next iteration of Windows, some concerns have been raised with regard to hardware compatibility. However, today I'll be demonstrating that it might not be as difficult to run the new version of Windows as you might think. After the internet had an early look at Windows 11 via leaked developer ISO, Microsoft officially announced the new OS along with some relatively sparse info on compatibility and availability. Supposedly, you'll be able to upgrade to the new operating system later this year and going into 2022. There have been many concerns with hardware compatibility as Microsoft appears to be requiring your PC to have UEFI and Secure Boot, as well as TPM 2.0. TPM, or Trusted Platform Module, is essentially a chip that generates cryptographic keys to improve security by preventing hardware tampering. That's a very basic description of what TPM is all about, but essentially, Microsoft is really pushing for a more secure PC experience. But even if you have a relatively modern PC based on, say, a 1st gen Ryzen or 6th gen Intel CPU, you may be out of luck. You can get TPM chips that plug into a header on your motherboard or get a UEFI update, but even that could be potentially overruled by the CPU you have. Personally, I think Microsoft will roll back with this decision as it's probably going to cause a lot of issues, but knowing Microsoft, who knows. Today, however, I wanted to show that despite this whole compatibility mess, Windows 11 can run on basically anything. UEFI replaces the previous legacy platform, bringing improvements to security, storage capability, and performance. With an operating system such as Windows 10 installed via UEFI on a GPT disk, boot times will be much faster than that of a legacy system. GPT disks support more partitions and breaks the 2TB disk limitation of a legacy system. The usability of a UEFI BIOS will also probably be more intuitive in the form of better visuals, though results may vary. The obvious issue is that if you have older hardware, you'd have to use legacy, which operating systems such as Windows 8, 8.1, and 10 do support, but not 11. However, there is a way to install Windows 11 on legacy systems. All you need is a Windows 11 ISO, a Windows 10 ISO, a USB drive, and 3 pieces of software: ImageBurn, Rufus, and 7-zip or any alternative. You'll want to extract both ISOs so you have access to the contents inside. Do this by right-clicking on each ISO, hover over 7-zip, and click Extract To. Next, you'll want to grab the install.wim file from the Windows 11 folder and move it over to your Windows 10 ISO. This file contains the actual operating system and different editions of said OS, in this case Windows 11. Anyways, that's all that needs to be done to the folder in the File Explorer. If you don't have it installed already, download and install ImageBurn and open it up. Choose Create Image File from Files/Folders. Then choose the yellow folder icon with a magnifying glass to browse for a folder. Look for where you extracted the Windows 10 ISO to and choose the folder like so. Now choose a destination where you want the modified ISO to be saved to. Just remember where you put it. Now we need to make this ISO bootable, so click on the Advanced tab, then click on Bootable Disk. Tick the checkbox next to Make Image Bootable. Choose the boot image by clicking on this icon, and in your Windows 10 folder, navigate to Boot and choose the etfs boot file. On sectors to load, change this to the number 8. Everything else can be left alone. Now click on this button to build the ISO, click Yes, then OK, and the ISO will start to be created. After a while it'll finish, so you can exit out of ImageBurn and move on to the next step. Open Rufus and grant administrator permissions. Your USB drive will be wiped, so make sure to back up any data before proceeding. Anyway, if it isn't already, plug in your USB drive to one of your PC's USB ports. Select the ISO that you just made. Under Partition Scheme, make sure MBR is chosen, as the whole idea of this video is to install Windows 11 on a legacy-based system. GPT is a UEFI partition scheme and will only work when booted in UEFI mode. Once you make sure of that, click Start, make sure you're okay with losing all of your data and click Yes, and let it do its thing. Once that's done, make sure to enable USB boot if there's a setting for it in your BIOS, and you should be able to boot into the installer. Now all you need to do is boot into the USB installer and install Windows as normal. The installer will look just like a Windows 10 installer because it is technically, but since the install.wim file was replaced with the one from the Windows 11 ISO, you'll actually be installing Windows 11. I ran this on an old laptop I have and it installed without a problem. The new operating system still hasn't been released, so this tutorial is just a proof of concept and you shouldn't really be using this as a daily driver. But if Microsoft really does end up being strict with these security requirements, this may end up being how you need to install Windows 11 on some systems. Hopefully that's not the case, but we'll just have to wait and see when Windows 11 is released to the public. Anyways guys, hopefully you found this video useful in some way. Don't forget to leave a like and make sure you're subscribed and have notifications enabled for more quality tech videos. If you have any questions or suggestions, let me know down below in the comment section, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Anyways, thanks for watching and I'll see you later.